So let's talk about how you got started. How did you get?
How to get started.
Yeah.
So how to get started in real estate? The way how I got started was 7 years ago, going on eighth. Um, I had always had a passion about real estate.
Yeah.
Throughout my entire, almost not ever since I got out of high school, but almost like when I got out of high school, I started working for like loan officers. I was their assistant,
Okay.
and I probably worked. I started with Countrywide, then B of A, and then I went to another Eagle Home Mortgage, I believe it was called. So I was working in all those three firms for like a good while.
Okay.
And I would always see, what the loan officers would do, which I didn't really like that side of it. So, I was more intrigued I've always been intrigued on the real estate side. So I guess that intrigued me even more.
Yeah.
And I just decided to take my real estate license. I failed it like 5 times. And finally, I passed it.
So, so when you got out of high school 8 years ago, you went straight into loans.
No, not 8 years ago. No, yeah, right. No, I started off like in a small little kid store. They used to sell clothing.
Yeah.
And then I was probably there for 2 years, and then I went to like some sort of like office administrative type of job.
Yeah.
And because I got that office admin experience,
Yeah.
then I went into being like assistant. Somebody gave me the opportunity, thank God, to be assistant to loan officers, receptionist, and that's how I got in.
So you weren't really looking necessarily to be a loan officer. It was just an opportunity that presented itself, and it's like, okay, this is something better than what I'm
Yes.
doing now. Y se abrió una puerta and like sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay, but loan officer, you're dealing more with other realtors, or it's you were dealing more with customers, and you like the customers more.
I guess I was dealing more with the agents.
Yeah.
Like the following up, the processing side of it. So I got to know a lot about like the back end of it.
Yeah.
And yes.
And then you decided like I like dealing with the customer better.
Yes, but see, in my head, ever since I was in high school, since I can remember,
Yeah.
I always wanted to do something with houses, so
Okay.
real estate. So that even, just intrigued me more. Like, okay, I need to get my real estate license. Yeah.
Did your family have a background in it, or what was it that real estate like was your calling?
So my dad.
Okay.
My dad has played a big part in all of this. My dad, immigrant from Mexico, vino sin nada, le batalló, but, thank God nos sacó adelante a todos. After like long, his job careers, de lo que trabajó, de lo duro que trabajó,
Yeah.
he was able to buy a house in LA, Bell Gardens. That's where we grew up. So anyway, back then they were like super cheap, of course. So he got his first home, and then he got another one, then another one, then another one. I was still little back then. And so as I got older, I just seen how my dad was, he was doing good with just all those rental incomes. And that's what intrigued me right there. I'm like, I want to be like my dad. Like, I just want to have more rental properties. How do I get into that? Real estate. And eso fue lo primerito.
Have you ever had this conversation with your dad? Like, Dad, why did you buy a house? Like what sparked like the investor side? Well, because it was eventually an investor, right? Like, what sparked that? Like, have you ever had that conversation with him?
No. And now that you're telling me, I'm like thinking about it. No, I haven't. I have not. No, I need to.
Yeah. Well, so I talk to people like from different cultures,
Uh-huh.
and something like from our culture is we're always hard workers.
Yeah.
Like everybody that you meet, like everyone say, like, oh, it's fucking huevón. Like, no, like we're all hard workers. Like especially our parents. Like our parents were even harder
Yeah.
workers than what we are. Like we have it easy compared to them.
Yes.
But a lot of times we didn't like even today, right? Like we don't have the direction, like to like, hey, like go buy a house, like go do this, go do that. We're just working and like it just leads to nowhere. Or maybe we get lost and start buying stupid stuff like watches and
Yeah.
stuff that like maybe you should be investing your money instead of buying crap. But we've never had that person to like, hey, like no, do it this way instead. So I talk to people like from other cultures, and what I learned is like in other countries, there's no jobs. So they don't go looking for a job. They have to like hustle. Like you have to like figure out a way to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're not looking for a job.
Yeah.
You're looking for a way to make money, and especially like in the larger cities, you're like selling stuff on the street
Yeah.
or whatever. Like you learn to hustle.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah,
So like my dad, he had to learn how to hustle when he got here.
yeah.
It's so funny that we're having this conversation right now because so once a month
I'm getting flashbacks.
I am. Once a month I always go to my dad to Tijuana al doctor.
Okay.
So I'm his girl. I'm the one that takes him. So yeah, it was one of those days, right? And I love going out there with them because just our conversations that we have, right? It's just like, yeah. So yesterday we were actually talking about this. He was telling me, I mean, we always talk about it, but he was like, it just kind of made me cry. He was telling me like, cómo se vino de Mexico. He was young. How
And is this the first time he told you the story?
I knew it, but he really went into like real deep into it.
Yeah, okay.
My son was with me in the car too, and yeah, it was like very touching. I'm glad we're having this. I'm getting flashbacks. So, anyways, on the way back, he was just, we were talking about it, and he was like, no, es que pues tu abuelita no quería que me viniera, y yo me había cansado de estar allá, ya estaba bien. Like my dad has always been a hustler. He's always had it in him, right? He didn't grow up rich, but he was always a hustler. He made sure he had money in his pockets. He likes. So, nos andaba diciendo cómo se vino, como mi abuelita no quería que se viniera. So, he ended up coming to Tijuana. He told us how he suffered, like, with food, with clothing. He struggled. Cuántas veces trató de brincar.
Yeah.
Back in the days. Lo agarraban, so at Tijuana, he literally had nothing to eat. He would se robaba una manzana del mercado. It was just really touching for me and my son to hear this, right? He even started crying, and so did I. Le hace, no, mija, yo le batallé mucho, y gracias a Dios después de tanto tratar de pasar y pasar, llegué aquí, y él empezó a vender limones. That was his hustle, vendiendo limones en iglesias, and he would be like, gente se burlaba de él, but he didn't care. Y de allí, he was just a hustler. Somehow, him and my uncle, his brother, that my uncle was already here, entre los dos, se ayudaban uno al otro, empezaron a vender ropa. Empezaron a vender ropa. Y de ese negocio, se les dio. Poco a poquito, empezaron a vender. So he already had, his routes that he would go to sell clothes to clients. Y de ahí empezó todo. Poco a poquito, les iba a tocar puertas. Hey, ¿quieren ropa? Se las fío. He got a lot of clients, thank God. And he did that. I remember when I was old, I used to even go with them door knock to go sell clothes. But he already had his clients. So I want to say he did that for a good, long time, 20, 30 years. Wow. He never worked for anyone. He never did. Y de eso mi papá hasta la fecha tiene rental houses. De ahí agarró para comprar sus casas. Y era muy ahorrativo. And I think I got that a lot from him. I'm a, I like to save money. I'm a saver. I'm not a spender. So yeah, now that that you talked about the hustle, my dad had it in him, and I think that's what I got from him.
Yeah, my dad told me this story for a while ago, and my mom, my grandparents on my mom's side, they were born in Arizona when it was still Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was given papers.
Yeah.
So my mom came with papers already,
Nice.
but my dad didn't. He had to cross, And when he told us this, I knew he had crossed, but when he told me the story of having to pay un coyote to cross, and how he got taken advantage of, and how they took advantage of women as they're crossing, and him having to see that, and not being able to do anything, and it's dang,
I know, right?
When he didn't get into graphic detail, but just picturing that, dude, that's really hard.
Yeah, it is. And I think you how do you say, like, valoras más lo que tienes?
Yeah.
Because after we dropped off my dad yesterday, me and my son, we were talking, we're like, oh my God, that only makes us appreciate where we're at right now, because we didn't struggle.
Yeah.
My dad is the one that struggled. Because of him, we're here, thank God.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I tell people that story all the time because even today, like I was telling David earlier, like, dude, I got up at I was doing something at 7 in the morning. My first appointment was at 7:30, and this is like an average like day for me. I'm up at 7:30 is like my first appointment,
Nice.
and I don't get home till like 6:30 ish. On Saturdays, I'm in the office. I'm not at home, or I'm at the office on Saturdays. Usually till like 3 o'clock. So on an average normal week, what is it, like 70, 80 hours is normal for me. And people are like, oh, don't you get tired? Like, when's your day off? You know? But when I get tired and I don't feel like getting up, like, I think of my dad.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, like my dad did that. Like, if he did all those sacrifices, like for me,
How come we can't?
like why can't I do it? You know?
That is so true. That's very true. We're so blessed being here.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. So, okay, let's back it up. Real estate. So now you're a new agent. You were doing loans, and now, like, okay, now you got to figure out, how do I sell houses? How did that go?
So I started at a company for like 3 months. It didn't work out, so I just went to another company, which I've been there ever since I started, Berkshire. So I've been there ever since pretty much I started. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie, because I guess it was just hard on how to get started. I didn't really have a whole lot of people to show me how to get started.
Yeah.
So I remember I would ask my managers. My manager was super helpful, which I can tell you a story about him too. My title reps, super helpful too. So they just, they would tell me, just get on the phone, start calling expires, and you'll land on some listings. So the first thing that clicked on my head was listings, right? So I remember I would be in the office every Monday through Friday. I would probably get there, I want to say like 8:30, 9 o'clock, drop off my son, then go to the office. And I would be on those phones. So I would treat that job as an 8 to 5 type of job. So I wouldn't leave the office till 5 o'clock. I would be calling, doing something. If for whatever reason I was like done before, I'd make sure I'd go door knocking to make up for those hours that I still had left. So I would literally be like doing prospecting from 8 to 5 o'clock.
And nobody does that.
I had to do it.
No, but like realtors don't do that,
No.
or very few.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So así empecé, and I was very eager to make money. I'm like, okay, I gotta make it. There's no plan B. So I landed my first deal, I want to say like almost a year in.
So 1 year, no money.
Yeah.
And how many times did you think about quitting?
Oh God. So there goes that story with my manager, Rudy. Super nice guy, Rudy. He was my manager back then. I remember I would tell him, Rudy, I can't no more. Like, I need money. I'm not making anything. I'm gonna quit. I had already interviewed a place, and they had already hired me. So I told him, like, that's it. I can't. I'm gonna quit. And he's the one that was like, no, Laura, just hold on, give it some time. I see your potential. Don't get that job.
Yeah.
So obviamente me lo pensé. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, he just insisted in me still doing that. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just keep on trying it. And thank God I did.
During that process, during your whole career, did your dad like come into play? Like, no, like keep on doing it. Like,
No, he didn't.
you stayed out of it.
He would, like, if I needed help with money or something.
Yeah.
Even though, I was married at the time, but me and my husband, we weren't rich or anything like that. We were both starting off as well. So my dad would help us out if, he's like, hey, whatever you need, you know what you're doing, just let me know. So I knew I can count on him.
But not like advice. He wasn't the...
No, he was just like, échale ganas, mija, échale ganas. Yeah.
Okay. So, when you were starting out, like, what do you think? Because you went from one place to another place,
Mm-hmm.
and then I imagine it was Rudy that kept you there for a year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so he was the one like kept on like pushing, 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 pushing. That was different from the first place you were at. You didn't have
Yes.
that pushing. And then what do you think that finally like what clicked? And
So,
finally you get a deal.
so I finally got the deal. I remember calling my husband like, "Oh my God, guess what? I got the deal. I signed the contract." So of course he was happy,
Yeah.
and of course happier when I got my first check. I still remember it was like 2 houses back to back. My commission was like 8,000, I want to say, for each of those houses. So heck, I was super happy, and ever since I'm like, all right, this is mine. Like
You're like
I'm gonna do it.
like Louis Vuitton, here I come.
Yeah, not even yet, okay? But yes, yep, yeah.
So what this is this is what year is this now?
I started 16 or 17. I always get those years confused.
Okay.
17? I
So
think
this is like
17.
2 3 years before pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once you did your first deal, then what changed? Like
I guess you kind of get that, you kind of feel it inside, right? Like, all right, if I was able to do this, I can do more. And I knew, like, deep inside of me, I knew I was going to be able to, like, to do it and to do more. I've always had the mentality of, like, if so and so can do it, how come I can't? You know? And that's when my dad would come into my picture, like, mira, pa, you know, tanto que le batalló. Come on, you know, yo no tenía nada. Yo
Yeah.
teniendo todo, I can do it. It's just in your mindset, and you just got to really work for it. Nothing's going to be given to you. You got to work for it.
yeah. But you continued prospecting, you continued treating it like a job.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Until this day you still do.
Until this day, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So I know that you focus a lot like on Hispanic community. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I do. The reason why is because, you know, I have my parents once again. They don't speak English. So whenever we'd go to restaurants, to stores. Hey, Laura, ¿qué están diciendo? O ayúdame a llenar estos papeles, no los entiendo, right?
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what our people go through when buying a house, right? I mean, back then, I guess there wasn't this much information in Spanish. And right now, what I'm doing is just giving out all this information in Spanish. And it's just very, it's a blessing to know that I can help that family that probably didn't even think that they can buy a house. You know, I give them all the information, all the resources in Spanish. And yeah, I feel like if they're walking away with lots of info. So that, yeah.
So do you want to hear a story that I heard about you?
What? What? Tell me.
So I was talking to somebody from a new builder,
Uh-huh.
and I was telling her about the December 4th, and she's like, "Oh, Laura's speaking, you know," and she's like, "Laura Vasquez."
Oh my God. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, we love Laura."
Oh my
And
God.
she's like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Eddie, there was one time that she's like, I don't know how she gets the energy, but I swear she was here like 5 times in one day.
Yeah.
Like she with different customers. She brought 5 different customers like in one day. She's like, I don't know like how she finds the freaking energy to
Yeah.
do that. So they just kept on going on and on and on about you.
Yes. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I mean, right now, I'm growing a team. Thank
Yeah.
God for that. Porque pues no me da el tiempo, you know? Pero yeah, that's so me. If I have to, I'll make it happen. So I have to be there 5, 4, 10, 20 times. I'll be there.
But with different customers.
Yeah.
So how do you find these customers?
I'm
Or
doing
how do they find you?
social media.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of social media, which that has been a blessing. So a lot of my clients, the majority of them do come through social media.
And they're Hispanic clients.
Yes, la mayoría.
Okay. So that's like a myth. Like, oh, they're not on social media, but yeah, they are. A lot of them.
Yes.
And when I go through your channel, because I went through like, I was telling somebody like, all your content, if it's not in Spanish, like you can tell like she speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
Like no, because you'll be like showing a house and like the music is like banda,
I know, right?
or it's
Yeah.
something that like
Yeah.
you're like, okay, oh yeah, she speaks Spanish. Like,
Claro. Yes, of course. And there's so many Hispanic people out there that I don't know, like me myself, I can't talk about other agents, right? But I know when I just started, I never thought about it, like, filming in Spanish or doing anything in Spanish. It just never clicked on me until not too long ago. Y qué bueno que lo hice because hello, there's a lot of our people that are out there. The majority of people that live in California,
Yeah.
speak Spanish. Y pues le estamos dando la información.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, as a woman, like in real estate, and you're helping like these Hispanic families, and I know like a lot of like Hispanic men like how they think and like, oh, it's like a woman like.
Yeah.
Can you talk about like maybe some challenges that you had, like, because a lot of men like especially Hispanic men, like they come across like as machista, or like, oh no, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Because you're like, did you come across a lot of that, or at the beginning?
Maybe at the beginning, yes, but I was new. So maybe there were, I mean, I don't know, right? Nowadays, I don't think I've come across anything like that. And if I do, I'll just ignore it. I'm like, whatever. Just move on.
Yeah.
I know what I
value.
can bring to my people,
Yeah.
my clients. Yeah.
So it's you're very secure in your mindset.
Yes. Thank God. Yes.
Okay.
Because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
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 I'm not a new agent anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I hear, because real estate industry, it's a lot of women, and a lot of them are wear like many hats, like you, right? Mom, business person, wife. Like, how do you do that?
How do I manage
Because
it?
so many people like have problems just doing the one thing, and you're doing all three things at a very high level.
Yeah. So good question. So damn, up to this day, I honestly don't even know. I work a lot. At first, I'm not gonna lie, my husband was kind of like, ¿Y tú? ¿Qué horas vas a llegar?
Like,
¿Qué onda? ¿Dónde
yeah.
está la comida? But he got used to it.
You got used to cold,
He got used to
to
cooking.
cold food.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, oh, the microwave.
Yeah, seriously. Or my mom, hey, soy la quiso de comer. And thank God my mom lives like, close to me.
That's funny.
But anyways, it is challenging. I'm not going to lie, only because once again, I don't think if I didn't love what I did, I would be so involved in it and put so many hours in it. But because I love what I do. So my schedule in the mornings is this, I get my kids ready. My son, he already drives. He's going to be a senior this year. My little one, she's 5. So I drop her off at my mom's, 8:30ish, and then I go to the office, and I don't have a clock out time, which I should, but I don't yet. So I can get home 6, 7, 8. Ahorita que iba a oscurecer más pronto.
Yeah.
Ahorita mi esposo is like, okay, well, at least ahorita te vamos a tener más pronto en la casa. But he is still working
Yeah.
from home. But thank God my husband, honestly, he understands now.
Yeah.
And he is very he's very supportive, even on the weekends. He's like, oh my God, otras vas a enseñar casas, Laura? But he gets it now. He's okay with it.
Yeah.
So I think having that supportive husband or wife, on the other side, is very, very important for you to succeed.
What about with your kids? Like, do they get like pissed off at you? Like, oh, like, where's mom?
No, I guess, no. My daughter, maybe she's like, Mom, you're always working.
Yeah.
And my son, I think he already got used to it. But it's okay because I used to not take Sundays off. So now I do. Sundays is totally for the family.
That's cool.
And of course, like Friday nights, we go have dinner, go watch a movie. So now I made that a priority. Like Friday night, Saturday night, we do something as a family.
Yeah.
And Sundays too. So
But he's getting older too. He's like, probably.
he's like, whatever, Mom, I'm going with my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, leave me alone.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so when I said that you're like successful, you're like really successful realtor. For those that don't know you, So tell me a little bit about Laura.
I'm like, so, I mean, yeah, yeah. I've been ranked, thank God, #2 agent for Berkshire in Southern California.
Wow.
Solo agent, just by myself. I don't officially have a team because I don't. I'm trying to work on that. Um, and I'm just a hard worker. I have my mind, honestly, like I have so many things I want to be able to do in life. In what I do, I have a big vision, like big vision. I'm not even no he llegado ni así. So I just have that big mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna get this and I will, but I know it's gonna take time and work, which I'm willing to put in.
Yeah. One of the other things that we haven't talked about yet is Laura the investor. So you're also investor.
Yes, I am with
Tell-
my husband.
Yeah. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about how that started.
So I wanted to get into real estate because of the investments, rentals, flips, right? So yes, I do flip along with my husband. Really, I mean, I don't flip. I'm not the one putting in the work, right? So what I do is I find the property. I'm like, hey, husband, I already closed this one, so it's now your time to work on it. I don't even ask him like, hey, I got this deal. No, I just lock it up, and he'll get it going. He'll work on it. So yeah.
How did you learn that part of it?
So interesting. My first mentor when I just started and I was hitting those phones to call expires, I met my first investor through an expire. I guess one of his listings became expire, Manuel. I don't know, somehow we just talked on the phone, right? He was telling me how he was an investor, how he flips houses, how he did all of that. So I was very intrigued. Of course, I wanted to learn more. So we ended up meeting at Coffee Bean in Riverside, and he told me all about it. And pretty much he was like, if you find a property, Laura, he showed me how to look for those properties. I'm willing to go in it with you. We'll go 50-50. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, I found a property along with another friend that I have. We were both really intrigued about it. And we ended up splitting it in a 3-way. So it wasn't so much about the money because I wanted to learn. I'm like, I don't care if I even break even, I just want to learn. And sure enough, that was my first flip with them, and that's how I got the ball going.
So isn't it interesting? Even going back to our parents, I barely finished high school. It sounds like you did finish high school.
I did, yeah.
But school wasn't a big part of my career, and it doesn't sound like it was a big part of your career.
No.
Either. It was the stuff that we grew up with.
The stuff that we learned, that we see at home, maybe,
Yeah.
I agree.
So I have a friend. We were at an event, and so it's almost ending, right? And he's like, Eddie, ¿te despediste de so and so? And I'm like, what the? Really?
Yeah.
No, you did not just say that. I'm like, yeah. And at first I got pissed off. What are you, you're calling me out? Si me despedí? like my dad, oh, te despediste? And I got kind of pissed off at first. And then later on, he works with his son, and he did the same thing to his son. Oh, saludaste so-and-so. And his son's like, oh, yeah, Dad, I did. So then I'm like, oh, it wasn't that he was trying to be a jerk about it. It's just he cared,
Mm-hmm.
And it's those little things that we grew up with, oh, saludaste. When you go to a party, you say hi to everybody.
Exactly.
And before you leave, sometimes it takes you longer to say bye to everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's why people make fun of us that our parties never end on time.
Yeah. Those despedidas are the longest ones.
Yeah. But it's those little things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree with you. I hated school, by the way. I did. I hated school. But it's so true. It's everything that you see at home or how you were raised, And I guess everybody has different mentalities.
Yeah.
Because my brothers are not like me. I want to say I'm the only one, that has this sort of mentality. They're all hardworking, my brothers, my sister too. But business mentality, I think, te digo, yo salí a mi papá because I saw what he did. And that was what got me here. Yeah.
I was having a conversation with my goddaughter, and it was her first job, and she went for a hostess like job at a nice restaurant, and she's like, I don't, it's my first job, like I don't know what to do, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? She's like, yeah, it's my first job, like what do I do, you know? I'm like, well, just you go dress nice, you know,
Yeah.
to this job because you're gonna be the first person people see when they walk into this business, so you go dress nice, and then when you go to grandma's house, what does grandma do? Like, oh, she gives me a hug. She says hi. Like, what else does grandma do? Like, oh, she always has like my favorite food ready, and she talks to me, and she does this, she does that. So grandma's being a good host.
Yeah.
Like, so you know how to be a host. Like, you've been watching grandma your whole life. Like, that's the job. Like, you know exactly what to do.
Very true.
Yeah. So like, it's funny. Like those things help us more than
I agree.
than
Than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Que la escuelita, como dicen. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it sounds like another thing that was very important for you is like the connections, the network.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
So, I mean, yes, yes, because that connection, like without my first mentor, I'm sure I would have flipped, but who knows when,
Yeah.
right? But he showed me a lot. I even shadowed him, and he was like doing his numbers or how to go to like these appointments to try to get those deals. So, yeah, that was very, very important. The connection, the network. I mean, even the hard work that I put in it, because if I would have never had picked up those phones to call expires to look for a client, I would have never met him.
Yeah.
So,
Well, even like I met you because we have a friend.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I think I called him like, dude, what the hell? You're not inviting me to your. And he's like, no, come like.
Yeah, that is so true.
And he's like, va a haber tacos, va a haber.
Llégale, cáele. Yeah, that is so true. That is very true. That has been a blessing.
Yeah.
Knowing you.
Thank you. No, you too.
La verdad que sí.
Yeah.
Pero yo creo que cuando menos te lo pienses, and you know what? I'll be quite honest with you, Eddie. I'm not the person that networks a lot, which I should. And the reason why, because I'm always just busy with my job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go network when I can just go home to my family. So I'd rather, of course, go home to my family, right? And if it's something during the day, I'm like, oh, is this going to really be informative? Or should I just go to my office and pick up those phones, actually make some money. Yeah. But it is very important to network because you never know who you're going to meet.
But I'll tell you something too. I still am, but I'm being less and less. So they say that either you have a mindset of being transactional, or you have a mindset of being like relationship. Okay, and when you're transactional, you're there for the deal. You're not there to make friends.
Yeah,
you're there for the deal. What I've learned is the more friends I make, the busier I keep getting.
Nice.
I tell this to everybody, like when this comes up, like I have never once called you and asked you, hey Laura, can I give you a quote? Like I've never once asked you, hey, do you need insurance on that escrow? Like never. And I don't ask ever, like for business, but it comes.
Yeah.
The more people get to know me, they're like, oh, Eddie knows his shit. Like he knows what he's doing. Like
I agree.
His office knows what he's doing. You know? And like little by little, like agarran confianza, and then like the business comes. So the more friends I make, like the busier I keep getting. And my mindset has kind of changed. Like I'm not there to sell you insurance. Like I'm just there to make friends.
That is true.
Like the business, like it'll take care of itself.
Te llega solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And that's why I do like more and more of it now.
Yeah.
I'm not there to sell anything. Like I was talking, like me and Vanessa did a podcast, and I was telling like, dude, like if it's not already obvious, like that I sell that I sell insurance, like I don't know how to make it more obvious. Like I sell insurance.
I agree.
Like it's obvious, right? But I never ask you for it. Like, and it's just that different mindset.
Yeah, te ha referido gente.
Yeah, lots
and
of
that is so true. You have never once asked for me to like, hey, Laura. Yeah, that's true.
even your stuff. Like I never asked you like, hey Laura, can I sell you insurance?
Yeah.
But it came like, so yeah, I challenge you to do more of it because you'll see like little by little, and then you have a lot to share. And when people see, they're like, oh shit, Laura's a badass.
So true.
Like,
That's
and you'll see how much it'll help you.
that's very true. That's on my bucket list. The more networking.
Well, even like the buyer seminar that you did, the like watching you like interact with like all the people that were there, that was a form of like
Yeah.
networking. You got a lot of leads from it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've closed anything yet, but I'm sure you will like close stuff from there.
Yeah.
Even that little thing, like
Thing that we did. That's very true. You never know, right? Nunca
yeah,
sabes what that next seminar, the next what it's gonna bring you.
yeah,
That's very true. I agree.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I challenge you more. So
Which yes, I have to do it. I really, really do. I just gotta, stop putting buts and
Yeah.
actually do it.
yeah. Well, and you're gonna be speaking, right?
Yeah.
at the
At the event, yes,
Yeah.
Eddie. So I'll be nervous. I'm not good at. I feel like I'm not really that good at public speaking because I've done it maybe twice
Yeah.
that they've invited me. Y le digo a mi assistant, right? I'm like, oh my god, I think la regué. Like, I shouldn't have said this, or I didn't come out the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
I do get nervous around people. I feel, but hey,
Yeah, no, but I think the obviously the more you do it, the better you will get at it. But also you come across like naturally, and like on your Instagram, right? Like if like I said, if it wasn't obvious that you like
Yeah.
your background, like it comes across like obvious, and people gravitate to you, whatever it is.
yeah,
They don't know what you're gonna say, so if you screw it up, they don't. They
I know,
don't.
right?
They don't know.
Yeah, and that's so true. Like I thought about that. I'm like, well, sometimes you're watching people and they kind of screw up, but nobody really cares. Like they're there because
Yeah.
of what they're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So, um, so now you're going through the process of building a team, being a leader. How's that going for you?
It's going great. It's going good. Little by little, I'm learning as I go. So I can't wait until once I have it all done.
Yeah.
But that's my vision to create a team to help other agents. Make be able to help out more families and of course them as well make more money. Not only teach them about that, but also teach them about wealth.
Yeah.
How to get rental properties, how to get flips. So all that little stuff that goes into real estate, because I feel a lot of agents, they do transactions, they get a check, then they go broke because they spend all that money in
Yeah.
their bag or whatever, right? So I want to show them. I mean, of course, de vez en cuando se pueden dar su gustito, but also, hey, it's not all about that. It's about you investing too, because that's not always going to be coming. So make sure that you invest in real estate. Do something with that money.
Do you do that with your clients too?
Show them how to invest.
Yeah.
With a few, I do. Yes. Yeah. Not all of them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Maybe I should do it more often. But with a few, yes, I do that.
Because like the whole process of like them like not knowing if they can buy a house, right?
Exactly.
And then preparing them to buy a house. That's a lot of like teaching and
Yes. So that's a lot of teaching, right? I do work a lot with the first time home buyers. And it's a lot of we're giving them a lot of knowledge, I guess, a lot of tips on how to either fix their credit, how to save money, cómo no tener ese dinero en el colchón, because most of our people, ay, no, es que no lo quiero en el banco, me lo van a robar.
yeah.
I mean, sometimes I see it a lot. No, just put it in the bank, make sure it's seasoned there, and do not like make big deposits. So just showing them, teaching them about the importance of all of that money wise. It's okay to have it in a bank account. The credit too. how to build up the credit, and yeah, it's very important to make sure that you give them that.
Can if I have an I-10
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have, can I buy a house?
Of course, even a new house.
Really?
Yes. So yes. There's. I'm not going to say there's so many programs because there's not that many, but there's quite a few. Either 20%, 15%. I just came across this lender that can do 5% with an I-10. So yes, as long as you have a certain credit score, yes, puedes comprar una casa.
So what is the most important thing if I want to buy a house? Is it how much money I make, how much down payment I have, my credit, my age? Is it easier like if I'm a girl or a guy? Like
No, right?
what is like the most important?
Everything in the sense of, this is what I tell everybody. Usted no se preocupe de nada de eso, nomás con tal de que tenga las ganas.
Okay.
You know, porque si tiene las ganas, you're going to do the rest of the stuff. Meaning your credit score, you know, you got to have it. I'm going to say at least 580 or higher. 620 plus recommended. Of course, your job, a stable job or a business, something that shows that you've been making money. And yes, it's necessary to have some money saved up. Not a lot, because I've gotten a lot of these people into new houses with just like 20,000 or even less, 15,000.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of every little things that involve you buying a house, which there are important.
So something big that happened this year is the lawsuits. Right? Like the commissions and like, there's been a lot of like confusion. Has your business changed? Like after, before?
No, not at
Has
all.
it got better? Like
So I'll be honest with you. At first, when all this was going on,
yeah.
I think we were all scared because we didn't know. Right? We're like, oh my God, you know, what's going to happen? Is the business going to come down? ¿Qué va a pasar? Pero no, pasó todo. And, you know, we presented stuff how we were supposed to. And I feel if you're a good listing agent, you're going to still make sure that the seller's paying for that commission. And up to this day, I have not had a problem with any of the listings of the sellers paying our commission. Uno que otro, maybe, you know? And I have not had that problem where the buyer's willing to pay me, you know, whatever we have to negotiate. So, no, I have not gotten, it hasn't affected my business.
Would you say the biggest thing is like just being upfront?
Yes. You have to be upfront. You have to. Because if you don't, ya desde ahí empieza la desconfianza.
Yeah.
So, totally.
Yeah. So business hasn't gone down, it hasn't gone up, it hasn't gone better.
I mean, thank God, right?
Yeah.
Para mí, todos los meses, todos los días, it's better and better as the days go.
Because I've noticed like with insurance, it keeps on getting harder and harder and harder and harder, and it's gonna get even harder.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I noticed that as it gets harder and harder and harder, I'm competing with less people.
Exactly. That's true.
So I imagine it's harder now with the settlements, and there's less people. I don't know. I imagine that know how to do it and that are still doing business at a very high level.
Yeah. I guess, you know what? Just like your business, right? I guess it takes that person or that business owner that's like, you know what? It's okay. Like, mejor para uno porque hay más negocio. So you just, all right, whatever. It's this piece of cake. We just got to know a way of how to do it and move on.
And the same thing with like the interest rates, right? Like, it is what it is. Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Everyone's always going to buy a house. There's always going to be sellers. There's always going to be people, you know, to do something out there, regardless of the market. It's on your head.
Okay, so if there was an area that you would say, like, I am an expert in this, like whether it be like selling, investing, first time buyers, what would you say? Like, this is where like Laura,
My niche?
yeah,
My focus?
the new buyers.
I mean, that's a good question. It's todo, you know. Yeah. I do focus a lot on buyers, on the first time buyers.
Yeah.
I want to say I do focus a lot on them, and also listings. But I feel a lot of new buyers, que hablan mi idioma
Yeah.
come to me because they know that I speak their language, and that's why I'm so busy with them as well.
Do you get a lot of referrals?
I do. Thank God. Yes. That
Okay.
too.
Okay. So, I don't know. I keep on hearing like there's less houses on the market, less transactions. We're going into slow season. That's what I hear, but I'm not in real estate. How are you doing right now?
I'm doing great. And it's funny that you're saying that because everybody is struggling right now with business. Last year people were struggling. This year people are still struggling. I heard, I haven't really looked into it, that a lot of agents left the business because of the whole law that came up.
Yeah.
Pero gracias a Dios, for me, it's just gotten better. I guess I'm just like you, less competition.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up, and I'm not going to. I just want to strive for more and help more families.
Okay. So let me ask you. I'm trying to let you brag, but you don't want to brag. How many deals do you have right now going?
So year to date, and I have to say it's thanks to the team that I have behind. I know there's a lot of agents out there that have done triple the business I've been doing, right? But for myself, I feel very blessed.
Yeah.
Super thankful. Like, you don't even know. I'm probably like up to, I want to say I haven't even counted, but I want to say close to 80 something deals.
80 something deals this year.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah.
And
Thank
how many?
God.
Yeah. So that's like 7, 8 you have always going?
In a month. I it's so funny, Eddie, because I look at my board, right? I'm like, okay, how many transactions have we closed this month? How many have we closed last month? And I tell my assistant, she's so funny. I'm like, se llama Denise.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hi,
Denise.
hi Denise.
¿Por qué no hay más en el board? What's going on? She's like, Laura, we just opened 5 new escrows last week. I'm like, oh, okay. But I've been closing, I won't say anywhere between 8 and 10 a month.
Dang.
What I?
And that's a lot.
It is.
And it's, for the most part, it's just you.
Yeah.
So it's even more impressive. Like, how do you find the time to do all that stuff?
So once again, yes, it's me, but I do have, Denise, who's my assistant, my TC. They're both great. We have a good team. I want to say
Entre las tres, that's
las tres.
so
We
you're
are
gonna-
such a good I'll be somewhere right now. I'm like, hey, have you seen the email from this person? Or so they both get on it.
So you're gonna be close to 100 by the end of the year.
I would say so.
Entre tres, that's pretty good.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And I do have 2 showing agents right now that they just started. I want to say 5 months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you focus a lot, or with small business owners?
No, I need to. Not at all. No.
Because I feel like a lot of them, okay, I'll be honest, my taxes aren't 100%.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Maybe they don't know, I can't buy a house, I can't buy a house,
You know what? I need to, Eddie. I'm glad you brought that up because I've been wanting to do that, wanting to meet with my community, those business owners.
Okay.
But I have not. I want to put something together.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. So I know you have to go and we're running out of time. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we finish up?
No, it's just that anybody who's interested in getting into any sort of business, insurance, real estate, whatever you want to, it's all in your head. Once again, if so-and-so can do it, Canelo. Si Canelo lo pudo hacer, que vino de la nada, how come we can't?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's all just in your mindset and you got to want it.
And if you want to buy or sell, call. No.
Call me.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Laura.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.